everybody. Thank you for joining me tonight. If I were to say to you the words, who cooks for you? Who cooks for you? You'd probably think I was a crazy person. However, even the least seasoned of owl watchers knows that these are the words used to describe the cadence of the barred owl call. Along with barred owls, Floridian nature tells us that the most common owls in Florida are the great horned owl, the barn owl, burrowing owl, and my personal favorite, the eastern screech owl. Observing owls in their natural habitat is both fun and easy, and I'm here to tell you today about some simple steps that you can take to observing owls in their natural habitat. First, you'll want to start with a set of tools. The first tool that I would want to recommend for you would be a pair of binoculars. They're not 100% necessary, but they're great if you do want to observe the birds up a little closer so you don't spook them off. They're relatively inexpensive. You can get them at any store, and they're great to just carry around in your backpack if you happen to spot something on the way. The second tool that I would recommend is a guide for bird watching, most specifically something with pages for owls in it. This is really handy because if you do happen to spot an owl in the wild, you can identify what species you've spotted, and a lot of times it offers great tidbits of information on that owl. The third thing I would recommend is dark clothing and a hat. Dark clothing will keep you less visible to the bird, even birds of prey, and a hat will help break up the eyesight between you and the owl, so as not to spook them off. And the fourth thing I would recommend, which is one of my favorites, is a snack and a blanket, because owling has a lot of lengthy hours involved in it, and you're going to get hungry and you're going to want to sit down and rest. So those are the physical tools that I would recommend. What about the mental tools that you need? Well, birdwatchingdaily.com informs us that the key to successfully owling is the 3 P's: patience, persistence, and a philosophy or attitude that with your hard work and sometimes lengthy hours, your owling can be successful. So those are the tools that you need. What about the time and location? How do you pick a time and location? Birdwatchingdaily.com informs us that the real key to finding owls is by understanding their basic needs, which are good feeding habitat and daytime cover. Owls eat small rodents like mice and squirrels. They also eat snakes and birds, and they even sometimes eat other owls. So where would you locate these things? Well, you kind of have to go where the prey is. Probably an open field would be the best thing. Open field with some tree cover. Marshlands and swamps, which we have plenty of here in Florida. And even urban areas if you don't want to go too far from home. Urban areas are a great place to find rats because of the food and waste from restaurants, and so owls tend to find really good food there. So owls typically hunt between dusk or at dusk and at dawn. During the daytime, they're going to be sleeping. You're going to find them up in trees. So this is a great time for you to look for clues on your owling adventures. A couple of clues that you would want to look for when you're owling in the daytime are owl pellets, which are masses of undigested food that are regurgitated by the owl. You typically can find these around nesting sites, so it's a pretty good indicator of the frequency of owl locations. Another thing you want to look for is whitewash, which, for lack of better terms, is a lot of bird poop. Obviously, you'll find these as well during nesting and feeding areas, and it's a good indicator that owls have been there. Lastly, the thing that you would want to look for would be hawks in the area. Why, you ask? Well, hawks and owls are daytime-nighttime counterparts. They share the same food source, so if a hawk is in the area and generally appears regularly, chances are the food sources are good, and so you'll find owls which share the same food source at nighttime. So those are good indicators of owls in the area. At that point, you would be able to plan your trip and say, this is a good place for me to do my owl watching. All right, so you've gotten all of your tools together. You're excited about, finding all of the owls that you found in all of these locations. What do you do next? How do you advance your hobby? Well, the first thing I would recommend is journaling. I would recommend keeping a small notebook or some type of sketchbook around so that you can draw different pictures of your owls. I'm sure I've got one. Ah, perfect. So I would recommend drawing the things that you see. You can draw the different species, put, whether it's male or female. You can put the date or time that you saw them, the location. And it's a great way, it's kind of a good keepsake to be able to have for yourself, to keep record of your notes, and it's even great so you can share it with friends. The second thing that I would recommend is joining a bird club. I think this is a really great tool because then you can get together with other birders and share notes. Typically, you can find birding clubs at places like local wildlife habitats like Boyd Hill, or I would also recommend the Audubon Society. And the third thing that you can do is if you have any trees in your home or in your backyard, I would recommend building an owl box. This provides shelter to the owls, so they're more likely to come around your house, and that way you'd be able to observe them from inside your house instead of having to plan a trip. It's a little bit easier if you have more things to do than just owling. So a great place that you can go to get an owl box is a place called hungryowl.com. They sell both pre-made owl boxes, and then they also sell plans that you can buy so that you can do a do-it-yourself owl box building project. So, in conclusion, as you can see, owling is actually a very fun and easy activity to do, and I want to thank everybody for coming and listening, and I hope you enjoyed the lecture, and I look forward to hearing about your owling endeavors. Now I'm going to open a question and answer session for anybody that has questions. Sir?
How much do the owl boxes usually cost?
I've seen them anywhere between $20 all the way up to, if you want to get really fancy, I would say $150. They kind of range. The plans probably are a little cheaper, but of course you're doing all the work yourself.
Thank you.
Yes?
Do owls make different noises between the different species, like how their calls are?
They do. They're actually a lot of times very different, and even in the same species, there are a lot of different calls that occur. As you heard earlier, the Who Cooks For You, barred owls make that noise, but they also do like a low-pitched growl and a screech as well. So it's very different between species, but it's also different in the species itself as well. So lots of owl calls to hear. So, anybody else? Yes.
How long do owls typically live?
Owls can live anywhere between 5 to 12 years, although snowy owls live to be about 25. So, thank you. Anybody else? All right, that's it. And then I'm going to have a guest speaker, Kenzie, come up, and she is going to do my critiquing session for me. You guys be easy on me.
Hello, everyone. My first question is, what was the most important thing you learned about the topic of owls? Not all at once.
I think the most interesting point was that they share the same species or prey species as hawks do, just one does at night and one does it the other part.
Okay. Anyone else?
I didn't realize that owl pellets were regurgitated. So that was something I thought was interesting that I learned. But
Okay. Anyone else? What did the speaker do most effectively?
I thought it was well organized through all the steps, so it was easy to follow along.
I agree.
She knew her topic. When the questions were asked, she knew the response.
Nerd out with your bird out.
I will never forget this speech. What would you suggest the speaker work on before the next speech?
Breathing.
Breathing?
Felt like you were kind of holding it in a little bit, so I think that made it a little harder to.
To get it out there.
Yeah.
Anybody else? You guys be easy on me now.
That was really
Yeah,
good.
I'd say just watch uhs and ums.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
easy. It's easy to.
They sneak
Yeah.
in there.
Especially if you're nervous. Okay, does anybody have any other comments, questions about the speech?
That was a good speech.
Good job, Faith.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you guys.
Let's go to group owl on the down.
Yeah.
Let's go to Al.
I want to know what next week's topic is going to be.